It's Friday, November 22nd, 2013, and let's talk about what happened this week over at xdadevelopers.com. First up, we've got a lot of official updates coming out for different Android devices. As a bit of an update to a story we talked about previously, HTC has gone on record and said some things about upcoming Android releases for their devices. When Android 4.4 was officially released on October 31st, HTC came forward and said that within 90 days, meaning the end of January, that all US variants of the HTC One would have Android KitKat. Since that time, as we mentioned before, they've come out and said that the Google Play Edition should be getting it very soon because they've already given the code over to Google. Well, they've gone ahead and reaffirmed that they are going to have it done by the end of January, and additionally, one step further, they're going to have the Droid DNA, the update to 4.4, by the first quarter of 2014, so sometime before the end of March. After mentioning in the last video that the Google Play Edition was promised an update very, very soon, we got a lot of comments saying, yeah, right, that's not going to happen, so I look forward to seeing your comments on whether or not you actually think this will happen by the end of January as well. Now, speaking of things you wouldn't really expect to see happening, Motorola has really stepped up when it comes to the Android 4.4 update. They've already started rolling it out to the Moto X, and the funny thing about this is the very first Moto X to get the KitKat update is the Verizon one. Which, according to the article over on the portal, it seems that Verizon was the first carrier to get the Android 4.3 update for the Galaxy S4, so I'm really confused and conflicted at this point, but still, realistically, it's very nice to see Motorola stepping up and actually pushing out updates to some of their devices. So if you are on Verizon and you have the Moto X, I wouldn't necessarily say go start mashing that check update button, because there was even another article mentioned in a bunch of places this week talking about how the update process actually works. Effectively, only about 1% of people get the update in the first 24 to 48 hours. If your device is not on that list, hitting the check update now button isn't going to do anything until the next stage of the rollout, where they'll go to about 25% and then 50%. And in theory, after a week or 2 weeks maybe, everybody should have the update. That's clearly not the case, but at this point, yes, a lot more people are getting the update on the Nexus 4 and Nexus 7. I hadn't really intended to go into that story, but, you know, there we are. Moving right along, though, this week, the Galaxy Note 2 N7105 has received an official update to Android 4.3. Now, keep in mind, the N7105 is the Nordic version, so if you want to try to install this update, you can, but it's not intended necessarily for everybody, so just sort of be cautious, read through the forum thread for the details and everything. And additionally, the Android 4.3 updates have been pulled for the international Galaxy S3, the i9300, and the AT&T Galaxy S4. So there's a bit of weirdness going on around Samsung right now in terms of this 4.3 update. But the flip side of that, and what's kind of amusing about this, is they've started rolling out the 4.3 update now to the AT&T and T-Mobile Galaxy S3. So it's like they're kind of cherry picking who they actually want to receive these updates. Maybe they're going to just skip over 4.3 for some of these and move right on to 4.4. Maybe there was a bug that was really an issue. One way or another, if these updates have been out, that means that they are available somewhere. So if you're looking for this update and you're on a carrier that's had it pulled, you might be able to find it, flash it, check it out. I'm sure there are ROMs based on these things at this point, so you're probably not terribly concerned with over-the-air updates if you're watching this video. And speaking of ROMs, an official alpha build of OmniROM has now been made available for the Nexus 5. That's thanks to XDA-recognized contributor Mithun46 and senior recognized developer Explode Wild. Apparently, the only real bug that has been noted so far is the lack of data ability for Sprint users. I'm not a Sprint user, never have been, so I will probably be giving this a shot myself. I may show you the process of flashing it and just show you how it looks and how it feels in an upcoming video on this channel if you guys are interested in seeing that. And of course, if you are a Sprint user using the Nexus 5, don't worry, they are working on it, and you may just be interested in hopping in there and helping out. They're always over on IRC, or you can catch them on the forums. You never know. If you poke your head in there and try to help out, you might be the next developer. You might have your name on this list, and you may show up on the portal or one of these videos. Moving right along, the next story I am confused about, and honestly kind of never figured that I'd be talking about it, but here we are. XDA senior member Foamy has created the first functional custom ROM for the Samsung Galaxy Gear, the smartwatch. It's based on the stock ROM that comes on the Galaxy Gear, but it has a lot of improvements. It's rooted and it's deodexed, and it's got just some customizations to it to make the user experience a little bit more friendly. According to the portal post and the forum thread, it's supposed to be bug-free, but you know, nothing ever really is. So do make sure to read through the forum thread, make sure nobody else is having any issues if you actually own a Galaxy Gear before you go ahead and flash it to your device. And one last external story I thought was kind of interesting. Motorola is apparently really stepping up their game. I mentioned earlier that they're starting to roll out KitKat to their devices already. Well, additionally, up to this point, if you owned a developer edition Motorola phone and you did pretty much anything to it, you'd void your warranty. Specifically, if you unlock the bootloader, you'd void your warranty. Well, according to the Motorola blog, they've made a change in their policy so that now, when you request an unlock code for your developer edition Motorola device, you don't actually void your warranty anymore. And furthermore, the people that have already requested these codes for their developer devices have their warranties restored. So that's definitely an amazing change. That's going back in time and giving you something that they should not have taken away in the first place, realistically. I think at this point they realize they can't undo the past, but in a way they sort of are with this. I'd be willing to bet there are probably some people who, upon losing that warranty, sold their device whenever something went wrong with it as opposed to getting it fixed. So they can't exactly fix that, but for the people that still have their developer edition devices and need warranty support, maybe they're back in luck. So if you've got one of these developer edition devices and you need some help out with it, check on over on the Motorola blog for all the details there. And a couple of bits of XDA news to mention finally. First up, a couple of new forums have been added. One for the Moto G, a relatively mid-range device that's going to be coming out sometime next month, around $180. And the second is for the Oppo N1, this device that I'm playing with here in front of me and using to read all the news off of. And additionally, 3 other videos were posted to XDA Developer TV this week. In the first one, TK did another XDA Exposed Module Tuesday where he talked about Zui Mod, and then I did a video review of the Nexus 5, and then TK did another Android app review about Cloud Magic, getting prettier, more functional email. And with that, that's all I've got for you today. As always, if you like this video, please do make sure to hit that like button down below the video, and subscribe to receive our content as soon as it becomes available. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again on Monday.